Hey everyone, I'm Brina, one of the co-founders here at Quin. And today I'm sitting down with Meghan Roney, who is a customer here at Quin and a managing partner at Simard Associates Wealth Strategies in Ontario. So Megan, thanks for being here. I'm excited to share a little bit about how you're using Quin, how you found Quin, and yeah, just the different ways you're using it. I feel like we've had a lot of back and forth on how to make the product better and just launching new features even within the last week.
Mhm.
Making a request and launching new ones. So Megan's been a big help in us just constructing, the future of Quinn in general and our product strategy. So excited to dive in. But just to get started, Megan, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. So like you said, I work here in Ontario and managing partner of a financial firm here locally. And my sort of progress to how I got here, I would say is maybe not. I think people in financial services often end up in financial services in an indirect sort of pathway.
Yeah.
So my background is actually in kinesiology. My educational bachelor's and master's is in kinesiology, but sport business side. And I found myself in textbook sales when I had graduated from university. And the running joke, similar to like if you can sell ice to like a polar bear, you're good at sales. Well, if you can sell textbooks, you can pretty well sell anything.
Yeah.
And while I don't really consider what I do selling, to be honest with you, um, it certainly helps when you're talking about challenging or different topics and trying to like get people to understand where you're coming from. So, I transitioned into this business actually when I met my husband. So his mother, so this is my family's business. So she ran this business as very successfully for 40 plus years, probably. And then we have progressively taken over the business in the last couple of years and expanded. And I think probably like most younger business people, we're looking for efficiencies and
Yeah.
ways of not having everything on paper. And, you know, we have the ability to grow exponentially, but we have to have the systems and scale to be able to do it. So that's kind of where I guess I started and where we're at right now.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about some of the sort of the most challenging things that you had to deal with when it came to inefficiencies, or what were some of those things that were kind of slowing you down?
Um, I mean, everybody's favorite word, compliance.
Yeah.
The reality is and for good reason, our industries, pretty well, no matter where you are in the globe, have gotten so much more strict and so much more detail oriented, note oriented, process oriented, product oriented. Rules are in place because somebody somewhere along the lines did something they probably shouldn't have. But what that means is it's so much more compliance. And we love what we do, spending time with clients and planning for clients. But so much of that, sorry, yeah, planning for clients, so much of that compliance just eats away at your time. Like
Yeah.
the prep in advance, the meeting notes afterwards, the follow up emails, the amount of emails in my inbox, like all of those pieces of things, when you really sit down and focus, like half of my day is gone a day, easy, in just compliance matters, follow up matters, logging notes, due diligence, all those pieces of things. So that was a big part of where we were looking for efficiencies in our business. Um, And then as our business expands and we bring on advisors and other team members, we need to know that the notes look the same. They're
Mm.
going to the same places. They're being done properly, like all of those pieces of it. So for us too, as business owners, it's also people management.
Yeah.
And how do we efficiently manage and help people be more efficient um, in productive and quality ways? And I think at the end of the day too, time is money, like and value. And so if I can create more time in my life, that either means I get to spend more time with my family, uh,
Mhm.
because I think what everybody's goal is, or, I can maybe see an extra client a week that I didn't have the capacity to see before by building in these efficiencies.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I feel like that's been a common thing among Quinn users, just addressing compliance, but also just like managing those admin tasks that you would rather automate and spend more time either with your clients or with your family or just literally doing anything else. I know you've been with Quinn for a little while, but I'm curious, how did you hear about Quinn, or what were some of the things that you were learning about Quinn that kind of drew you to try it out?
So, shameless plug for Libby. I am a
Mhm.
podcast listener of The Efficient
Mhm.
Advisor, and that was how I found out about Quinn.
Yep.
So, I listen to her podcast, daily on my drive to and from work,
She's
and
awesome. We love Libby.
she's
Yeah.
she's awesome. And so it was kind of one of those things that, you know, I have an admin assistant, but that admin assistant does, my processing and my trades and my work like that. And I don't have like an executive assistant. I don't have somebody who's checking my emails. We had already made the transition to trying to get clients to do online booking. So, that was a step that we were working forward, to avoid how many phone calls and all the follow up and that kind of stuff. And so when Quinn popped up on repeat in her podcast, I was like, okay, I truly, truly value what she puts forward. And she really only puts forward things that she uses and are efficient and effective. So that's kind of how I ended up here. And then
Yeah.
I had an initial meeting and was kind of like, okay, I'll give this a try. And like, actually, no joke, within the first month of utilizing Quinn, and not even extensively, like I would say borderline bare minimum, I'm dipping my toes in the water. I had taken 2 or 3 Fridays off. And
Wow.
that was like not a thing. Fridays were my catch up day. Fridays were my, oh, shoot, I forgot that. I missed that note this week. I've got to go back, clean the whiteboard, add the things for next week. Did I do all the tasks? And all of a sudden I was sitting there and I was like, I, I don't have to do any of that stuff this week.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I went home. I was like,
That's awesome. That's
awesome.
awesome.
This is
That
awesome.
makes me so happy, yeah, like,
Yeah.
take that off, yeah.
And
That's
then I went from there and, I told my husband, who's also in the business, but works in like a different side of the business to me. And he was kind of like, yeah, right. And I was like, when have you ever found me home on a Friday afternoon being like, what do you want to do? Never.
yeah.
And so now we've implemented it actually through our team. Like, so all of our staff use it. Um, and then we're all building it out uniquely to our own, right? Into our own needs, into our own styles with certain extents of things. So yeah, it's been cool.
That is cool. Are there any I know you mentioned there are different ways that people are using it, and yeah, Quinn can customize those things per user, but is there anything that you are unifying across the team, or is it purely just everyone's kinda using it in their own way?
There have been a couple like guidelines that I put in where I didn't want certain things to happen. Like I wanted everybody to be able to review like meeting summary emails before they went out to a client. So I implemented sort of like this applies to everybody, a hard stop.
Yeah.
Um, because with anything, like Quinn's not perfect, right? And we have to go
Mhm.
in sometimes and change and manipulate and make sure it's properly translating or it heard the right person. I mean, it's 99% of the time it's on point, but you also want to make sure you're not only relying on it, like, you still have to check it, right? That's
Yeah.
all the compliance people out there listening, like, yeah, you still have to check it. It's never
Yeah.
perfect. Um, so I have done that, and there's maybe been a couple of other ones, but nothing I haven't really gone in from, like, an overarching point yet and put in hard stops or anything like that.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I am curious, I think this has come up on a couple of the sort of customer interviews, is, obviously Quinn being an AI tool, which can be new for people, or just like sort of new AI tool, new type of
Mhm.
tool with different feature sets and offerings, the onboarding experience or sort of getting adjusted to Quinn, you'd mentioned, there might be some things you need to kind of go back and forth on. Someone who is new to Quinn, someone who's just getting started, what kind of advice would you give them as they're adjusting to Quinn as a user?
Yeah, so I mean that's a great question, and I have some higher tech savvy staff members or teammates and less tech savvy teammates, right? So I mean, outside of you and your teammates who are great resources when we get stuck with something, the amount of stuff that you guys have developed, which is, we talked about this way back when, however many months ago, like what are people using it? How are people using it? Like I went in recently to the guidelines and templates and things like that. And I was like, oh, my business is heavily, heavily a retirement advisory practice. So, you know, when somebody mentions retirement, do this or draft this email. And
Mhm,
these are all the next steps and these are all the next things. So, I mean, my biggest suggestion is spend the time poking around. Like,
mhm.
there isn't anything you can do that you can't undo.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm,
right? Like,
mhm,
it's a button. We've talked about this and, even you alluded to it earlier. I still am currently using Calendly for my bookings
mhm.
because Quinn had some limitations at the time that I was like, I can't make this move yet. But I would like switch on the scheduler, see what's been updated. Is it working the way I need it to yet? Yes or no? Okay, switch it back off. Provide the feedback, which, we provided feedback this week and within 24 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think that's been really cool too, is you guys are so open and so client driven without diluting your product. I think, which is really nice, right? Like you're never going to be every single thing for every single person, but you
Mhm.
guys stuck really true, like core to your values and core to what you're trying to do. And then from there, it's like within those parameters, how can we just be better?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So you take the feedback seriously. Like it's nice to know it's not disappeared into the abyss or like I make the joke, I submit a ticket and I know that Jeremy's going to email me within 24 hours to be like, it's fixed, or we didn't know this was a problem and now we're going to fix it, or holy smokes, this is great. Like the service has been awesome. So, anybody new, long story short, ask the questions, book the meetings, just dive into the resources because they are plentiful and
Yeah.
literally on a weekly basis. Like I've got an email waiting to be read today about what you guys have changed this week.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I
that's
know. It's crazy. We're constantly updating new things and yeah, for anyone who's new to Quinn, we're definitely, as Megan said, open to the feedback. It's why Quinn has been built in the way that it's been built because we just have a good relationship with our customers and we enjoy it. Like we genuinely enjoy the feedback because it's fulfilling to know that we're creating a product of value and um yeah, it makes us feel good to know that people are using it and it gives you the ability to take Fridays off every once in a while, which is crazy and really cool. Um, awesome. Yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to share about Quinn? Or even just, where you're hoping Quinn will go? Like what are some things that you're hoping will develop in the future?
that's a great question. I was really excited today to see some of like the fillable PDF and the integrations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
That
one.
was really cool. I mean, I sneak peek read the email. I didn't fully read it.
Sure.
I usually read it and then I go and click through all the things afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I honestly, for me, as a managing partner, right, and a business owner, our job on one level is obviously to provide the best service for our clients that we can. So that Quinn is helping me do that exponentially. But also the other facet of it is like I have to provide quality services to my team, right? And
Hmm.
I need to know that they can do their jobs the most efficiently and effectively possible way and not for the purpose of giving them more to do. Like that's not the purpose. The purpose is how can I make their lives better and more enjoyable and less Like, I'm going from this system to this system to this system, and our firm here, through our dealer, has had dramatic, dramatic tech change over the last 24 months. Like, it would make your head spin. And the
Mm,
amount of new software and new things that we've had to go out and create and find and do and build, like, we're tech exhausted at this point
yeah,
in time. And so
yeah.
Quinn has integrated very seamlessly into our stuff. And so, we're hoping it continues to do that, right? Like, and the offerings get better. I am blown away sometimes when I go to a drafted email and I'm like, where did they pull this data from? Like, where did they get this from? And then I go
Yeah.
back and it's in my note from like 3 years ago that it's pulled the fact from there, or it's pulled the fact from my email, or it's referenced my clients' children's names who were not even
Mhm,
referenced in the initial email into me, right?
mhm.
So it's really cool at how it's integrating safely and how it's integrating appropriately. And, I think my one piece of advice is, yeah, on my personal perspective, I guess, like, I always have the emails draft. I never have the emails send because I
Mhm.
want to go in and verify it.
Sure,
And I think that's like my one piece of advice of, AI is awesome and Quinn is awesome and you guys are doing a great job, but it's still our responsibility. And so
sure.
you want to make sure it's before you send it off to a client, or heaven forbid, a wholesaler or a compliance officer somewhere along the line.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, yeah, I think we've always seen Quinn as, like, a collaborator in that way.
Yeah.
So, there might be internal workflows or sort of notifications
Mhm.
that it's taking on automatically, but anytime it's engaging with someone externally, really making sure that that's a little bit of a collaborative effort, that Quinn is taking the heavy lifting of that, and you can just okay it and send it out.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Been awesome.
Well, this has been great. It always makes me feel good just kind of chatting with the customer and getting a view into, yeah, just like how you're using Quinn and to give folks who are watching or listening an idea of maybe how they can get started. And like you said, just poke around and explore. And we're here, for any advice or guidance on that as well. And so, yeah, for anyone who's listening and you want to try Quinn out or you haven't had a chance to, we do offer a 14-day free trial. You can just go to heyquinn.io and sign up and get things integrated. You have full access during that trial as well. And if you have any questions, you could reach out to us at help@heyquinn.io. Thank you, Megan. I really appreciate your time. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking soon via email.
Come back soon.
All right. Thank you so much.